Does this work? Can anyone hear me? Does this work? Hi, thank you for coming to McDonald's. How can I help you today? Hi, can you hear? So you can hear me. Okay. So let me, because the cord I currently have is super short. I'm gonna try to see if I can find the usual cord that I actually use. Because if I can use that, then we can have a very, very fun time. Is this my baby? It's my baby! Hello. There we go. Lucha, no. Lucha. No, 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 no. No, Lucha cannot play. It's past his bedtime somewhere. Okay. I will, however, allow him to deeply distract me. Can you still hear me pretty well if I talk like this? Can you hear me? Okay. I'm gonna talk like this. It's just Lucha is a little bit crazy. I'll let him sniff the mic now. This is Lucha. Lucha, do you have anything to say about this pandemic? And there you have it, folks. Lucha has officially decided, sniff sniff. Please tune in sometime tomorrow to learn about the conclusive finale to our incredible investigative report. If Lucha doesn't tear the mic in the process. Speak of the devil. Gosh. Where is he? There he is.
This is the scribe. She airship enough for you.
The strong. You really are a sniper.
Well, the headhunters seem to think so. What's a good word? Is she ready?
is she armed? How fast is she? Could you take me free?
I suppose I could tell you. Would you rather see for yourself?
Here.
Fran, our course.
The shortest way is over Doorstones.
Our flies to Sheba. She's free as can be. I took notice when they announced the princess's unfortunate sorcery in your town's conclusion. If it becomes known that I am alive, I must lose their favor. Try to steer clear of such things. Right, it's time to fly. No wedding towns are going to bite enough.
I'm coming.
You seem to are feeding, yes? I have my brother. She's well. See that she does. We need her alive. Balthier's bait must be fresh.
I keep trying to tell you. I barely even know who Balthier is.
My brother! A message come from Ravenaster. The Strahl she set sail. She makes straight for the sky city of the Gerba. Barely know was it. Yet our Tracy goes bounding off for you. Tell me, how could that be?
That's what I'd like to know. I just met him that one time and that's it.
I'll never stop. What if we plucked it from your head? As for you, we need Balthier alive. His corpse fetches but half the bounty. A tender beating, my specialty. There's no fun for it if we can't tease out a scurry for two.
Where are you?
Final Fantasy XII said we're gonna make the most beautiful fucking intro to a city ever. I don't even know what those goddamn crystal things are, but they're pretty.
Easy.
No good, he's not here. Keep searching. This way.
You're a dead man. Don't forget it. And no names. Of course.
Elusive mines are just up ahead. Though, I do hear there's not much left there these days.
You're on your way to the mines? Then please allow me to accompany you. I have an errand to attend to there.
What manner of errand?
What errand? I'm about to stay with you.
Right. Come on then.
What? Excellent.
Do me a favor and stay where I can keep my eye on you. Should be less trouble that way.
For us both.
So what's your name?
Oh, I'm not.
Don't worry. I don't know what's in that mine lot, but you're in good hands. Red Bosch?
Oh, thank you, God. Congratulations, you've won. Is it working any better? Which, fair, but can you hear me better? Gotcha. Okay. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Thank you for clarifying. Now go get your food. I hope it's delicious. Knife emoji. But like butcher knife emoji, not like fork and knife emoji.
The Lucian Mines, one of the richest veins in Evilis.
Under Imperial Guard, no doubt.
Actually, no. With but few exceptions, the Imperial Army is not permitted within gruu777's. Well, shall we proceed?
You will forgive me for asking, but you are diverting the purest of the magicite.
I can assure you it reaches Lord Vane most discreetly.
Ha! You wear your saddle well.
Be that as it may, I have no intention of being bridled, Your Honor.
Then you prefer the whip? Stubbornness will see not only you broken, Excellency, but gruu777's as well.
Having Mondor the Fourth, the Marquis of gruu777, the Marquis served as mediator at the negotiations of Damascus' surrender. It would appear that he is somewhat less neutral now.
They say he's been helping the resistance.
They say many things.
You're certainly well informed. Who did you say were...
What difference does it make? We have to find Penelope.
And Penelo is your...
She's a friend. She was kidnapped and taken here.
The Arcadian army is cancelled because... Hi, Lucha. No! This is my bread and butter. They have done nothing else wrong. Name one thing the Arcadian army did that was bad, besides kink shaming. You can't. Because that's how bad kink shaming is. Nothing will ever compare to having your kink shamed. Do you understand I make food for me to eat and not for you to eat? Do you understand the dynamic that's at play here, sir? Do you understand you're wasting precious time? I can't imagine that they do. So, honest opinion, do you feel like the music for this Final Fantasy, do you think it's like standard adventurous music? You know what I mean? Like, do you think it's like... Does it sound generic? Or does it seem like they had a very specific audience they were trying to target with this music? Because I'm trying to, like, have a more... I don't know if I mean less memorable. This is fair. Really, Lars? Gotcha. That's fair. Yeah, I guess that's subjective because I feel like I could listen to this music and know immediately, oh, this is Final Fantasy 12. Because to me, it's definitely orchestral. It's definitely like a mainstream group of instruments. Yeah, exactly. This is definitely like, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I feel like I guess I'm just trying to figure out if like why it stinks out to me, because realistically this game is not really like yeah, it's special to me, but it's not necessarily a really special game. Like, you know, it's not really like the best Final Fantasy that's ever been made, I feel. But I don't I'm trying to see where my appreciation for it ends and where its ability to be a good game begins. And also, like, what do I like about this game so much that makes me want to keep appreciating it so much? And what about that makes me want to, if there's other titles that this would draw me towards as a result. No, not the zombies! And I guess in that vein, I feel like... Honestly, I don't know how much that would help, because, like, one second. I don't know how much that would help, because it feels like the original game and this game aren't really that different. They've changed a few things in this game, but, like, a lot of the stuff that I liked in the original is also present in the remaster. Namely, that I think the world building is namely that I think the world building is very well done in this game, because it's very good at making all the different parts of the world fit together well. It's good at making it like there's an economy in this game. There's very distinct cities in this game. They're all different to one another, and they all have this kind of life about them that titles like I didn't see Final Fantasy 8 or 10 having, or 13. And I guess it's harder to see it in 10 or 13 because you don't really get the option to kind of be in them, but I don't... It didn't feel like, I feel like if I had to say which game, Final Fantasy game I thought had the best world building, I really would say 12. At least out of the ones that I've played. Maybe that's different for Final Fantasy 7, but or like Final Fantasy 9, but like I think 9 doesn't have... This is just me thinking out loud. Feel free to disagree with any of this, especially if you've played these titles, but I felt like 9 had a certain immaturity to it that I did not really appreciate. Not to say that that's a bad way to make the game, but it didn't feel like it feels like 12 has more. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like 9 wasn't like it wasn't inherently immature. It was just like, it feels like the writing in this game feels more mature. It's not that the premises in any of these other Final Fantasies aren't mature. It's that the way the execution is handled, some feel more maturely handled than others. Does that make sense? No. One second. Feel free to respond. I'm getting my laundry out of the washer quickly. Oh, I missed some of the comments you said above. What were you speaking about beyond above? I might be thinking of a different Final Fantasy. I didn't see those messages. I definitely think that you hit the... Yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to say. And I also like, you know... No worries, no worries. I also, like... Yeah, I'd say send it on Discord. Resend those on Discord, but I'm back now, so feel free to go back to sending them here on YouTube. Do whichever one works better for you. Lucha, I left the door open specifically so that you could be outside. Why are you in here? Oh yeah, so yeah, they originally did not want Penelo and Vaughn in this game. They originally were going to tell it about Bosch specifically, but then they introduced Vaughn and Penelo to make it more marketable to a teenage audience who otherwise would not be interested in this story. I played Persona 5. I thought that was also good. I enjoyed it. I think it was a little bit more on the mature side as well. I think that they were able to be mature, but also right for a, teenage audience, or I don't know, I don't think that they were going for teenage, but, they were able to I thought they were able to handle it very well. That being said, I don't like a lot of the politics of Final Fantasy, I'm sorry, of Final Fantasy. I don't like a lot of Persona 5's politics a lot of the time. I don't think they really, I think they say some really interesting things, but it always struck me as, like, aesthetically, rebellious. It's so interesting how you're aestheticizing a rebellion that involves a very powerful cop. You know what I mean? Like, so that's not the way you do that. Like, at the end of the narrative, you're still justifying the role of the establishments that are in place, and you're saying that these people shouldn't at all, like, there shouldn't be any change to the overall system. It's just individual people's... Yeah. Wait, what do you mean by that? You have to go deeper to change... Yeah, exactly. You have to go deep. You have to go deeper, but, like, they just said it was, like, an individual, and I'm like, we're gonna steal one individual's heart, and the system's over, and it's like, okay, but you still have a system that allows for the abuse of... You still have a system that we've seen is abused... and likely will continue to be abused. You haven't done anything to address any of the systemic issues, whereas 12, I think, does that well, because the entire thing is a story about a power struggle of using essentially what amounts to nuclear weapons, and the choice the game makes is to say, like, you know, we can't get rid of absolutely everything in the world, but, you know, getting rid of the Suncrest, getting rid of one of the main major sources of power that could possibly be used, we need to get rid of that, and that's the right choice to make, and it's treated as a narratively right decision to make. So this game, I feel, it's like not only just in that its politics are pretty good, but also in the fact that it's very good about tying together the interpersonal relationship between the characters, as well as their overall just journey of like, here's the main plot of the game that you're seeing play out right in front of you, as well as here's the geopolitics of what's happening on a larger scale. And it's a very masterfully woven interlinking of these parts. And that's what I really appreciate with this writing. And you get some of that with Final Fantasy X, which is why I like 10, but I also can still... I wouldn't say it's top... It would probably be in like my top 5 as compared to this game, because Final Fantasy, for me, more of the investment is in the deep philosophical questions that the pilgrimage raises about religion and such. And that's what I like about 10. But it's honestly really gloomy. And, I would love to play it again, but your girl needs a break. Yeah. And like 12 has an uplifting resolution to it, despite there being a lot of problems. Despite there being problems in the world, there's a lot of good.
Nethicite absorbs magical energy. This is the fruit of research into the manufacture of nethicite. All at the hands of the Draculaur laboratory. So this is where they're getting the magicite.
Also, Buther is deadass like, why does this little twink know so much about nuclear-grade weaponry?
I'll repay you shortly.
No, you'll repay us now. We have too much on our hands to go on holding yours. So, where did you hear this fairy tale about nethicite? And where did you get that sample you carry? What do you know about the Draculaur laboratories? Tell me, who are you?
Balthier.
You kept us waiting, Balthier. You slipped away at Nibena. We missed you. First to judge and know this boy. The whole affair has a smell of money about it. I may have to wet my beak a little.
Keep your snout in the trough where it belongs. This thinking ill befits you, Bagamnon.
Balthier.
Is it available on Switch? Because you've mentioned that title before, and it does have a very Final Fantasy XII feel to it when I looked at it.
Why keep the bait when you landed the fish? We cut her loose on the way here and then off she ran crying like a babe.
Hey!
After them!
Then where do I play it?
Hey, wait up!
We'll not be able to take them all. Fight who we must, leave the rest.
Ah! Do they plan to release it on the Switch? Oh. They released it on the PSP. I got you.
It would not seem they follow. We've lost them.
Much more running about with Bunga at my heels, and I'm apt to give up sky pirating altogether.
I think I understand what you're saying, but you know, maybe it's best to talk about this more later once the stream is over. You know, we can talk about that there. Alright, I'll look into that later. Lucha, not every time I get bread and butter, does that mean you're here to play? No, baby. Okay, thank you. So given what we're talking about, though, how mature would you say Bravely Default is? Because the other, how mature would you say it is there? Or, like, what are the things that stand out about that game to you?
I see you've been out walking without the company of your cortege, Lord Larsa. We caught her wandering out of the mines. You must take care with such undesirables about.
I was kidnapped.
Silence.
If it is a crime to wander on one's own,
Yeah,
then
that
I
makes
too am
sense.
guilty. Marquis, I trust that your estate can accommodate another guest.
Why not?
Judge Geese, I shall heed your counsel. I will not travel unaccompanied any longer.
That was unexpected.
Thank you, Penelo.
Of course.
I love how she's like, why does this boy know my name?
That's no Lamont. Larsa Ferinas Solidor, fourth son to Emperor Gramis and brother to Vane.
What? That kid?
Do not worry. I believe he will treat her well.
Nobody knows men like Fran does.
Our purposes lead the same way. To Ondor. We must find means to approach him.
Oh, that sounds very near Automata.
Opposing the Empire. We'll start
Like,
there.
the story is very simple to grab, but like if you really examine it, there's a lot more going on there. There's a lot that's strongly implied there and such. That's awesome.
Marquis Ondor announced my execution 2 years ago. If news of my survival were to spread, the Marquis may find his position compromised.
The men he's been funding bear little love for the Empire. They won't be thrilled to discover that rumors of your death were, in fact, greatly exaggerated. If we were to raise a clamor to that effect, we might just get their attention.
Nothing to it. I'll just go around town spreading the word.
I don't know.
This.
I don't know how much that hits the nail on the head for me, but I definitely feel like it hits a good nail on the head.
Well, what do you think?
That certainly qualifies as a clamor. All right, Vaughn, get to it. For the girls' sake, eh? Oh, and the more people around to witness your little performance, the better. If we're going to reach the Marquis, it's up to you. We'll be waiting here if you need us.
Yeah. But it's also like, at least it's a different experience, you know? At least it's new. I would definitely not say they're very, very related, but they're delightful. I don't know how optimistic Bravely Default is, but Nier Automata will make you feel things.
I'm Captain Bosch von Rotzenberg of Dalmasca. I'm the Bosch von Rotzenberg.
Okay, there might be hope.
Bosch lives. I'm the Bosch von Rotzenberg. Don't listen to Ondor's lies. I'm the Bosch von Rotzenberg.
So is it like it can be very sad? Oh, I didn't realize they changed that. Oh, okay. So, okay, I can deal with that. No, Final Fantasy... I'm sorry. Nier Automata is like... Fuck you. It's like... You will never be happy. I don't think there's a way to play that game and be very, very happy about it. It can be wacky, but it's in a like, what the fuck kind of way. It's a very what the fuck kind of happy. If you are to lie, you... And I think what I also like about this game that Kingdom Hearts 1 did well as well is that every time you go back in the game, there feels like there's a little bit that you didn't get. There always feels like in Final Fantasy or in Kingdom Hearts 1, there was always something new that you found that was a little whimsical. And I feel the same thing with this game because you can go back to each city, and you're encouraged to go back throughout each city to go and like
I'm Captain Bosch von Rotzenberg of Dalmasca.
Hear more of the story or hear more citizens' perspectives on what's happening. Like, if I didn't realize they'll change characters' dialogue.
Don't listen to Ondor's lies.
I didn't realize they would change, like that. Like here, I never realized that was a thing. And I like games that do that, where there's just like a lot of replay value, not just in,
I'm Captain Bosch.
Not just in, the things you can do as, where is she?
I'm the Bosch von Rotzenberg.
Not just as the things you can do for like gameplay purposes, but in terms of also like story and like other things, if that makes sense. There's just a lot to fucking do. Like, you know, Elder Scrolls is like that a lot, where there's always a lot you can do, so there's always a lot of good replay value. It's just Todd Howard hasn't. I mean, Final Fantasy 12 doesn't have Todd Howard throwing it down our throats.
He would sooner pass for the king.
I knew you weren't no captain. That was a mean trick to be playing.
If a trickery it ended, it would end well enough. But why this boy? And why Captain Rotzenberg? An explanation is due, and I will hear it. The Empire's hounds grow passing bold indeed.
A shame if they learnt the Marquis trafficked with the likes of you. Agents masquerading as guides, a hideout at the back of a tavern? Not exactly earning high marks for originality, are we?
Now you've done it.
So Bash von Ronsenberg does yet live.
I don't know if... I more just wish... I don't know.
So Vaughn really is alright. I didn't think I'd ever get to see him again.
I feel like...
You'll join him soon.
I feel like I almost more wish that, like...
Thank you.
If I was talking... For me, I guess, it's like, I wish people who I talked with about video games would also be more mature.
I intend to speak on this with the
And that's not pointed at you. That's more pointed to the kinds of experiences I've had on Twitch. Or like trying to play games with other people. I don't necessarily need people to be incredibly mature about everything, but
give him a little time and he will put things to rights.
I felt like a lot of the people I was talking with didn't want to handle any amount of maturity. And when the going got tough, they chose not to go deeper. And it's like, I don't necessarily need people to, like, I wouldn't mind if someone came in here and just called this Star Wars and, like, made fun of it. So now they have to go rescue, so now Han Solo has to go rescue Princess Leia, but it's not actually his sister, thank God. Like, I wouldn't mind if there were those jokes, but it just felt like
It is my duty to House Solidor.
no one wanted to take anything seriously.
How can I trust you?
Or, like, maturely.
Because I give you my
When
word.
it came to doing that.
My brother would do no less.
But it is also a very pretty game. How do they make those lamps glow green?
To see the Marquis's face when he learns of it. I should like nothing more. I would meet him and see for myself. How say you, my lord?
There is little to be said. I shall arrange a meeting with the Marquis. We shall expect you at the estate.
Should I do the snake mission now, or should I do it later? Should I go meet with the Marquis, or should I go fight the snake man, the snake thing? I don't really know. Well, I'm just asking, do you want to go into battle, or do you want to go get taken in by the Imperial Army? And I don't really know how much of it's like a YouTube thing. No, it's just a giant-ass snake. It's just a giant snake. Okay. Really? Okay, 1 second. Lucha just peed. And then he walked through it. Okay, great. Okay. Give me a second. I took you out at 3:30. What's wrong with you? That wasn't even a big pee. know you did that for attention. If and or buts about that. Okay, I'm gonna go with the military. I'm pretty sure you blow up. I'm pretty sure you blow up this ship. I don't think it can be avoided.
Sir Bosch von Ronsenberg. It was not so very long ago that I announced you had been executed.
And that is the only reason I draw breath.
So you are the sword he strung above my head. Vane has left not a thing to chance. And?
A leader of the resistance has fallen into Imperial hands. A woman by the name of Amalia. I would rescue her, but I need your help.
This resistance leader, this Amalia, she must be very important. You understand I've my position to consider.
Would you let us see Larsa? He's got my friend with him.
I'm afraid you're too late. Lord Larsa's cortege has already rejoined the Imperial detachment. I am told they will depart for Rabanastre upon the arrival of the fleet this eventide.
So here's a question in between the barks. Why do you say YouTube might be better for the game analysis than Twitch?
You to calm down.
What makes you say that? Because I've never streamed on YouTube before, so I'm not really aware of the differences.
Why, indeed. You should find the enemy's chains an easy burden to bear.
Wait. Sorry. Can't be helped.
Summon the guard.
Huh?
They are to be taken to Judge Geese.
Those decrepit basking fools in Arcades tie my hands, and look what happens. I tell you, this country's obstinacy knows no bounds.
The insurgents in Rabanastre operate alone at present. However, should they garner external support, the situation could worsen. We have found the counter-imperial elements in Bujerba to be conspicuously well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
No doubt Marcus Ondor is behind this. Ondor must be reined in.
By the way, the Marquis has written us a letter. He claims that he's recaptured our runaway. He's given
I agree with that. I don't really think
die by my hand.
Your fraternity.
I just don't really think like
Geese returns with Larsa.
like the thing I said when I first closed down my stream, I'm really not moved from that position. I'm not really moved from the position of like
We must see the real thing to be sure. Nobody's taught us much. Yes. It's well hidden. There we are, chasing after shadows, the fools. Ah, yes. The reins of history back in the hands of Vane.
I don't even know if it's like they're out there and I need to go look for. I don't even know.
What news of Arcades? Our honored members.
I don't know what it is.
Hard at work as always.
I don't think it makes sense to really try and do streaming again.
They are welcome to try.
I really don't think it makes. It's super. Yeah, it cut off your comment, but I mean, I get the gist. Truly, I just... I can't play the game. I can't play the game, listen to Lucha barking, and talk with you. So I'm gonna pause it briefly, so that I can only focus on two things. Yeah, I hear you. I agree with you that the video. I agree with that like assessment. You're not saying anything I disagree with. If I sound stressed, I do want to be clear. That's more because Lucha doesn't know what he wants ever, and he's just barking like mad. Oh my god, just go already. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense to go back on streaming. I definitely agree with you that it doesn't seem like people actually want to have those in-depth conversations. I think the people who say they want to have them are typically not actually prepared to have real conversations. Fair. I don't know. I see some people who'd be willing to have these conversations. But then again, the other point of this that I was trying to kind of get to on Tumblr last night was I don't really want to always talk about social justice. I don't always want to, or like not even social justice, but I don't always want to talk about these high-brained, abstract concepts every single time I play a video game. But, or like if I'm streaming, I don't mind if the people I'm talking with just want to have a more generic, what I would consider like more relaxed conversation. I wouldn't mind if I was just like doing stupid shit with people sometimes. or like even more of the time, because realistically I'm looking at, I wouldn't mind changing the content like that, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to be fun. I don't know how to have fun like that is what this really comes down to. I don't know how to, because so much of it for me is I've always had to focus on clearing room for myself, that I've had to focus on the political. I've had to focus on the group dynamic. I've had to focus on those specific things because I needed to clear room, and everyone else didn't need to clear room like I did. So because they didn't have to, they were not stuck in all of these conversations, or they were not only having just these conversations. So I am like, I don't know how to have fun. I don't know how to have fun when it comes to social media, or when it comes to being in a group setting with friends. I don't know how to have fun. I know how to handle things seriously, but that's about it. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm like, I don't get this idea of just doing fuck all. I just don't get it. And that's not to say I don't want to get it, but it's like, I still feel like I don't get it. I don't know what to do. And yeah. And I agree. I agree with that. But I can't really do Twitch anymore because it still seems like what you'd have to give you. That's true too. It's just this, like, it feels complicated, it feels nuanced, and I don't think streaming outside of a way to talk with people who are already my friends or who already like talking with me, I don't think that's it right now. Yeah, definitely. I'll be right back. I don't know. it's not about other spaces to stream in. It's not about other places to play video games in. It's about how every time I think it's just like the deeper problem here is how many it's this how many times I go in to a different way to try and creatively express myself, and not having the kind of support I need from the people I'm expressing myself in front of. And it's frustrating. It's like I don't get the room. I don't get the room to do a lot of the shit. Chill out. Bad. You're being bad. Chill out. Chill out. Chill out. But it's this frustration of it doesn't, it's like the universe is trying to tell me like the timing's not right for things, but it tells me in like just like cruel ways. It's not like, you know, so like for theater or like for dance or for streaming, it was this huge ostracization that happened. It was this huge isolation that happened in those spaces. And compare that to the Chinese learning group I was in, that like it didn't feel like the right time because it just didn't feel like the right time. Like it felt like everyone had to kind of do their own thing and we'd come back together and it's okay. But there were like actively malicious or bad intentioned actors in those spaces, in those other spaces where I couldn't create. I couldn't feel protected there. I couldn't feel safe there. I couldn't feel like anyone had my side. And those spaces aren't worth it. There are people from my theater troupe who kind of stay in touch with me and they like me, but I will never do it. I never want to do anything with them again as a theater troupe, because they have so demonstrated that they're not going to do anything about it. There are spaces in my dance community where they decided again, and this isn't entirely the case, but like it was a significant amount of the case that it was like I couldn't do shit. They decided I was not worth taking care of. They decided I wasn't worthy of enough support. And that happened with Twitch too. Even when I tried to go back and like just hang out with people in games, it was the same thing. And it was like the wave of like, oh well, that's still such a bad person. They never wanted to clear room for me. And it is about like, I'm sure there's ways to find community elsewhere, and there are ways in which I can keep active with theater. There are ways in which I can kind of see dance might be mobilizing to make me feel more welcomed, but I so deeply don't find that with games. I can enjoy video games for myself and enjoy video games with a small group of people, and I don't even mind if I'm just talking with you every 2 or 3 weeks in like this kind of stream. I don't even mind if it's just us. I really think this is still wonderful, and I would love to play other games. I'd love to get a capture card even, so that we can figure out how to stream Bravely Default on a 3DS that I totally plan to purchase for this game. But when it comes, I am so jaded. I just feel like I've seen so much of the dark side of at least streaming. All that shredding. I have seen so much of the dark side of video game streaming that it's not worth it to me to explore on a bigger actual scale. I will casually from a distance watch the streams of other people, but I don't want to go into the communities. I don't want to go into people where like someone's Twitch Discord. I can't do it. I tried doing it. I couldn't do it. It just hit too hard. I can watch YouTube uploads. I can watch people streaming on Discord. But I can even watch YouTube streams. I can even handle watching YouTube streams. But like, that doesn't mean I'm about to start streaming on YouTube. And I don't know. I don't see the point in streaming. I guess I'm just I'm more curious about it, what it's like, just to understand it better. Just to understand for myself why people choose to behave the way they do on Twitch. I can try that. I have tried it, but then no one would come to the stream still. They would check it out for like 5 minutes and then go. Or I would suggest to them like, hey, if you're interested, I am happy to play a game that you recommend, and we can talk about it, and I'm playing it and you're talking about what you like about it, and it can be that. I'm down to do that. But what ended up happening was no one would do anything. So no one would really hang out. And I just knew it was such a painful kind of experience at the time for me, because it was like, I don't like seeing, like, you know, there's a mix of like, I don't like seeing there's no one watching if I'm streaming, because it just triggers something deep in me. It just triggers some sort of like deep social isolation in me that I don't like. And I don't mind if I just schedule with people, but I'm like, what I never understood with Twitch was, why are people so comfortable with like streaming to 0 people? I don't get it, because to me, I'm like, I can't do it. Like, because what's happening is, because the idea to me is like, you know, on some level, this feels like a business to me. On some level, streaming, yeah. Exact, yeah, which is fair. But like, the difference with streaming a video game to 0 people versus the business model of tutoring to 0 people for me right now is, the tutoring is passive. You know what I mean? Like, the tutoring is like, I can just passively look for people who want students. I can reach out to synagogues. That someone might like what you just said. Exactly. But that's, I guess my problem with it is that that's just so inconsistent to me. And with like tutoring, it's like I can handle the passive rigmarole of like, okay, well, I can handle the passive rigmarole of tutoring where it's like I don't have any people to tutor, and I can kind of like try to work with a business like that, and I know how to try to find people to tutor. I can try and figure that out, and I can put in a little bit of an investment in there. But like, it feels like the expectation on Twitch is you're still playing video games while waiting for someone to come here. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, how many video games am I playing? How much money gets poured into this? And I understand people don't want to talk about money, but it's like, I have to talk about, for me, I have to. Like, and I mean that in like, I don't need to talk about it every single day on the stream or what have you. I don't need to like bring it up all the fucking time. But I mean, to me, I need to at least think about money. I need to think about the time investment I'm doing. Because, not even just because of money, a more accurate comparison is sitting with your books, hoping someone stops by looking to learn exactly what you're teaching. Yeah, I can't do that. Go ahead. Yeah, no, you're welcome to be honest here. I don't think that this conversation's gonna get anywhere if you're not honest. So, go ahead. I'll let you know when I think I'm reaching the next point of this is. I'll let you know when I'm reaching that. I think I'm done talking about this for today. I'll let you know when that hits, but we're not there yet. No, I agree. I 100% agree. What do I mean by that? I think like the beginning steps is yeah, and I think the thing is I don't know what I enjoy, but I think that was just kind of where I was the last time I tried to stream, which was like I need to figure out money, because like at the time when I tried to really stream and got affiliate, I needed to take things more seriously about it, because I needed to for myself take money seriously, because I have Lucha now. And Lucha is expensive, and not in a way that doesn't return investment, but just in a way that he's expensive. He's a dog, and I have to try and take good care of him. Requires a lot of money, and it's not productive in the terms of the stream. I can agree it's not productive in terms of like the stream to always hope it's going to be worth the emotional and monetary investment. I agree with that. Like, you know, I'm writing a play, so it's like, that's not going to be worth the money. There's not going to be money in that, unfortunately. I'm going to fight for it, but there's not going to be a lot of money in it. But streaming, I was just like, I can't justify the investment, because we're not even just talking about them. It's the way all money fits in with the not having a community, with the social isolation, with the not knowing what to do. It's like the 10 or 20 different problems that come around with streaming, that they're all just together. And I'm just trying to tease them out or tease them apart, and it's just like I haven't really teased them out like I thought I did. Exactly. There's no stability. It's me trying to continuously build a foundation that is being constantly eroded by the ocean. I'm on an island that is increasingly eroded, and I'm still supposed to build a foundation, and I'm like, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. And that's not a value judgment on the people who have figured out how to do that on Twitch or streaming in general or whatever, but I don't know how to do that. Absolutely. That's absolutely true. But there's a difference between having a following that at some point you gotta like it's also like it takes a while and a lot of luck, but it's not worth it if these beginning steps are exactly. I mean, like, the only reason I'm doing this conversation now is not to actually go on Twitch, as much as they're meant to be like a work down. I'm trying to work myself down from it being a trigger. I'm trying to work it down from it being yeah. I'm just trying to work it down. I'm not saying that necessarily means going back on Twitch, but I'm working it down. I'm at the end of this, at the end of like whatever streaming is, at the end of like thinking on this. Should we just switch to Discord and talk over the phone there? Should we just do that? I feel like that's much more useful than doing this. Let's do that for a little bit. But we don't need I don't know how much more That's fine. We'll just go into. Oh.